Professor Jacob Moran-Gilad.
Good
Welcome.
morning. Good morning.
We're very excited to be here, of course, and very excited to have the opportunity to speak with you a little bit about this year's ECCMID. So welcome. Could you give us a little information on how you're experiencing the organization of the ECCMID so far?
Thank you. Yes, I mean the organization of this year's Congress was in particular challenging. Of course, with all the COVID-19 restrictions, we had to move to a fully online Congress, and the decision was taken in quite a short notice. But I think we've done a great job in adapting to the situation, and we are delivering, starting today, what I believe is the most comprehensive ECCMID to date, despite being online.
Okay, yeah, well, that sounds like all hands on deck for the past couple of months. So is there any influence of hosting the ECCMID now in an online situation on the number of attendees this year?
So of course we could not expect the same number of attendees as an on-site Congress, especially mindful of the fact that our ESCMID community is at the forefront of the pandemic response.
Yes.
So most of our members are clinical microbiologists, IT physicians, infection control practitioners, and they're obviously very, very busy. And despite that, we are above 9,000 attendees to this Congress, which I think is a fabulous result.
Excellent. Yes. Yes. And how does the program? How is it organized? Is it all presentations by original research, or could you tell us a little bit more about that?
So our program is usually built with based on several building blocks. We have the invited program, which is based on session proposals that we receive from our community almost a year before ECCMID, and this undergoes an extensive review process. And the second building block are the abstracts, and we receive the abstracts, review them, and then compose oral sessions that are based on the abstracts, but also poster sessions. And we have the industry program, which is also a little bit different this year. I'll come back to this in a moment, but this is maybe an opportunity to thank our program committee, over 40 extremely dedicated people who've been working really hard to help us shape up the program, and also the numerous reviewers, and of course the ESCMID team. So because Paris 2020 had to be cancelled, we did transfer different bits and pieces of the Paris program into this year's program, commonly also with some modifications, because a lot has been happening in the course of 1 year. Then we have, of course, new submissions, new topics. We have COVID-19 as a new emerging topic into the program.
I can imagine that has yielded an enormous amount of new research.
Yes, and interestingly, so the program is organized in streams according to categories. So we have traditionally we had 10 categories plus miscellaneous one. This year we added another category, which is COVID. But much of the COVID-related content is also embedded in other streams, because COVID also impacts so many other aspects of microbiology and infectious diseases.
Yes.
So it is definitely heavily integrated in the program. So overall, we have 300 sessions, which is a huge congress, taking place, as I mentioned, in 12 parallel tracks. Plus, we have also the industry symposia, the integrated symposia, which form another 4 tracks. So there is really a good selection of sessions. Really difficult to choose, but I think the good point is that contents are being available up to 3 months post-Congress. So even if...
so on demand, yeah.
Yeah. So if our attendees miss something, they can go back.
Can always look back.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a small advantage over a live meeting.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So from which countries are we going to see some contributions the coming couple of days?
I think it's better to say from which country we do not have contributions. We have also a record number of over 130 countries that are being represented in the program. And we worked very hard this year to increase the representation of what we define as underrepresented countries based on previous year's programs, both from regions like Eastern Europe, which was not adequately represented, and also low resource countries. So we're working very hard to increase participation, and I think we managed to do that really well this year, and we will even further improve that in the years to come.
So you're really trying to balance the representations from out the whole world, actually.
Yeah, I think it's very important. I mean, the pandemic is a good example that we need to look very broadly, and we need to engage as many people as possible. And having speakers from more countries will also contribute to having more attendees and allow ECCMID to spread the word to really all parts of the world. In addition to geographical representation, we're also very much aware of gender balance in our program, and I'm very proud to say that this year we have over 50% female speakers, female chairs, so we did very well in that respect.
Great. And looking at the program, is it completely different to previous years, aside from the large amount of COVID-19 contributions?
I think many of...
Has it shifted the balance in the scientific content?
We have many different session types that have been very successful over the years, and we kept them. We did modify them slightly also for an online format. So, for example, the traditional 2-hour symposia have been shortened to 90 minutes because it is quite intensive to have so many consecutive hours of consuming online content, so we try to adapt the format. But we also have new formats. For example, we have case sessions. Traditionally, we have the clinical grand rounds, which is a very well attended session. But we added several more sessions which feature interesting clinical cases, and I think those sessions will be very attractive also for trainees. We have a new format that is called e-poster review. So that allows a moderator to walk us through selected posters from an e-poster session and extracting the most pertinent information from that e-poster session. So for busy people who do not have time to browse poster by poster, that could be very useful. And we have the Keynote fireplace sessions, which are really...
Is there a real fireplace involved?
Not real, not this year.
A virtual one.
Yes. But the idea behind the fireplace sessions is to create an informal interaction between early to mid-career individuals and the keynote speakers. So most of our keynote speakers agreed to participate in that. These are not formal lectures. This is just a fireside chat allowing our trainees to interact with high-level speakers and also discuss science, perhaps career development. So I think it's a
Well,
great
it's excellent
opportunity.
that it's possible to have some level of interactivity.
Yes, for
during
sure,
the
and we
virtual
have many hundreds of
Yeah.
registrants already for those sessions, so I'm
Yeah.
sure they will be a success. And we have some surprises as well this year. We have a virtual escape room. And in the escape room, participants or groups of participants, like escape rooms as we know them, will have to solve a puzzle. Of course, it will be infectious disease related, so some mysterious disease. Affecting people. It's going to be real fun. I think we may have a few spots left, so be sure you register. There is a slam poetry workshop that deals with writing poetry for the pandemic. And we have a really cool poet that is overseeing that process.
Yes, we will be interviewing him here on the ECCMID TV
great.
as well. So
Great, and you may have seen our art gallery.
Yes.
So that was released actually a few weeks ago, and I was overwhelmed by so many of our community members who were engaging in.
So talented.
Yes, extremely talented. Sculptures, paintings, poetry, prose, amazing.
Yeah, it's great to have the opportunity to see the other side of the science as well. Yeah. So a lot of new content, actually, is what I hear you say. Is that due to the pandemic and the virtual way we are organizing the ECCMID this year? Or was it something that you had top of mind anyway? Always looking for improvements and new developments?
I think we continuously try to improve and innovate, but definitely the pandemic expedited things.
Yes.
So if we do not have the social interaction so much in an online congress, so maybe we're trying to compensate a little bit by introducing certain features. But definitely most of the features that I mentioned, I think we will try to pilot them also in an on-site congress. Also for the industry program, we have many more integrated symposia this year. Obviously, we do not have an exhibition, which is a large part of the industry program.
What do you mean by integrated symposium?
So the integrated symposia are scientific symposia that are being organized by the industry. They are educational and not commercial. But the contents are being approved and controlled by the ESCCMID Program Committee, and we also have an ESCCMID appointed co-chair for those sessions. But the industry also has the possibility this year to have flash sessions which are commercial, so focusing on really presenting their products, and this is in exchange to not having an exhibition. And I would like to encourage also our attendees to have a look at those content, because many innovations also driven by the pandemic that it's worth seeing.
Yeah, they will be demonstrated by those industry flash sessions. Great. Any other important new program items or features that you would like to discuss or welcome our viewers to?
I think it's fair to say that we received a very high number of abstracts for this year. So we didn't know exactly what to expect. We heard from many of our colleagues that they just don't have time to write and submit their abstracts, and I'm very grateful to all those colleagues who, between treating patients or attending samples, found the time to do that. So we received close to 5,000 abstracts, which is a huge number for a pandemic year. About 70% of those have been accepted following peer review. So we have over 3,500 abstracts presented in the program, and about 800 of those in oral presentation format. So in addition to the invited program, I think we have a really impressive abstract program, including also late-breaking data, pandemic and non-pandemic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
It can even be a little bit overwhelming, maybe, so much contributions. But luckily, we have you to help our viewers in selecting a couple of highlights from each day's scientific program, right? We'll be hearing from you on that in the next hour at 10 a.m.
Yes, definitely.
Great. That will be great if you could guide some people towards some very interesting talks in specific. Okay. Well, thank you, Professor Jacob Moran-Gilad, for introducing us actually to this year's ECCMID 2021. We will be back at 10 a.m., as just mentioned, with the selected highlights from the scientific program for today. So we hope to see you then.
Thank you, and have a great Congress.